Before you spend $5,000 to $15,000 on a lawyer to fight betrayal, I want to show you a better alternative that's more effective, costs almost nothing, and often gets faster results than expensive legal battles. Today, I'm revealing why most betrayal cases don't need lawyers. They need strategy. I'm Madison Clark, author of Served Cold: 20 Stories of Perfect Revenge. And after studying hundreds of betrayal cases, I've discovered that the people who get the best outcomes rarely hire lawyers first. They use intelligence and documentation to create situations where lawyers become unnecessary. Here's what typically happens when betrayal victims hire lawyers immediately. They spend months in expensive legal battles that drain their resources while their betrayer continues causing damage. Even when they win, the cost often exceeds the recovery, and the betrayer faces minimal real-world consequences. Let me show you the difference with two real examples. Case 1. Sarah discovered her business partner was embezzling $20,000 from their marketing firm. Following conventional advice, Sarah immediately hired a lawyer and filed a lawsuit. 18 months and $12,000 in legal fees later, Sarah won a judgment against her partner. But her partner had spent the money and declared bankruptcy. Sarah recovered nothing and was out $32,000 total. Case 2. Michael discovered his restaurant partner was stealing $15,000 through fake vendor receipts. Instead of hiring a lawyer, Michael spent 6 weeks documenting everything while maintaining normal business relationships. Michael gathered bank statements, altered invoices, and suspicious transactions, then presented his partner with a choice: sign over all business assets in exchange for silence about the documented fraud, or face criminal prosecution. Michael's partner, desperate to avoid felony charges, agreed to the complete buyout. Michael recovered his stolen money, gained full ownership of the restaurant, and eliminated his fraudulent partner, all without spending a dime on lawyers. The difference? Sarah fought a legal battle over money that was already gone. Michael created a strategic situation where avoiding consequences was more expensive than accepting them. This principle applies whether you're dealing with workplace theft, family manipulation, business fraud, or social betrayal. The most successful outcomes come from strategic positioning, not legal positioning. Here's why the strategic approach works better than expensive lawyers. First, lawyers fight about what happened in the past, while strategic documentation creates leverage for future negotiations. Betrayers care more about avoiding future consequences than admitting past guilt. Second, legal battles happen in courtrooms where judges decide outcomes, while strategic exposure happens in public forums where reputation and relationships determine consequences. Most betrayers fear public humiliation more than legal punishment. Third, lawyers cost money regardless of outcome, while strategic documentation costs only time and often creates financial opportunities that exceed original losses. The protagonists in Served Cold understand that the threat of exposure is more powerful than the promise of legal victory. They use evidence to create situations where betrayers choose cooperation over confrontation. This doesn't mean lawyers are never necessary. They're crucial for complex cases involving significant assets or criminal behavior. But most betrayal cases involve relatively small amounts of money or personal relationships, where strategic pressure is more effective than legal pressure. Consider Patricia, who discovered her gym partner was selling illegal steroids using her name. Instead of hiring a lawyer to pursue civil damages, Patricia documented the criminal activity and used it to negotiate a complete business buyout. She eliminated a dangerous partner and gained full ownership of valuable assets. The strategic approach requires patience and intelligence, but it often achieves better outcomes in less time for dramatically lower costs. More importantly, it creates real-world consequences that prevent future betrayal instead of just seeking compensation for past betrayal. The book Served Cold is $2.99 on Kindle, less than most lawyers charge for a single phone call, and it contains detailed strategies for creating leverage, negotiating from strength, and achieving outcomes that lawyers often can't deliver. These aren't legal strategies because they don't rely on courts or judges. They're psychological strategies that rely on human nature and documented evidence to create situations where cooperation becomes more attractive than confrontation. If someone has betrayed you, don't automatically assume you need expensive legal representation. Consider whether strategic documentation and skilled negotiation might achieve better results for a fraction of the cost. Click the link below and get served cold now. Learn how to gather evidence that creates leverage, present it for maximum impact, and negotiate outcomes that restore justice without expensive legal battles. Because sometimes the best alternative to hiring an expensive lawyer is becoming a strategic negotiator yourself.